It was 1937. The Disney Company was underway for its first full-length motion picture, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was the highest-grossing animated film of its time, and even till this day, it's a beloved classic. Yet, is this film about an evil queen trying to be the most beautiful? Of course it isn't. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is a movie about drug abuse. Crack cocaine, to be exact. Many have said this isn't true, but the evidence proves otherwise in this scenario. Now, when I first read about it on a Reddit forum about Snow White having inner meaning, I thought they were crazy, but researching more into the subject and watching the movie again made it a lot more clear. The plot elements to the characters themselves have a deeper meaning. Where did I start? The main character herself, Snow White. A seemingly unusual name considering her stepmother doesn't even go by that name. So, when I watched the movie, I pinpointed a line spoken about her skin color as being as white as snow. That's where the name comes from. Her hair is black and her clothes have no white. But then I got to thinking. She actually is wearing a shade of blush on her cheeks. Actually, her complexion doesn't look too different from other princesses, like Ariel, Aurora, and Belle seem to have a pretty similar pigment. But then I thought about the other princesses' names, and if the color white seemed prominent in those names. Google Translate actually showed me that Belle, translated from French, actually means beautiful. Her name is Beautiful, without even mentioning her skin tone. I guess that, if not her skin tone, then why do they call her Snow White? Also, she is seen wearing a white visor around her neck area. Could this possibly symbolize the areas that cocaine enters her body? The dwarves. Happy, grumpy, dopey, sneezy, bashful, sleepy, and Doc. The dwarves all stand for Snow White's 7 side effects from using cocaine. A quick Google search of cocaine side effects led me to drugfreeworld.org. There, listed were short and long-term side effects of cocaine. So, let's decipher each dwarf. Happy, sneezy, and dopey all seem like the immediate symptoms after use. Cocaine is taken to the nostril and could make you snort or sneeze. Now, happy and dopey both seem like the high you would get after taking the drug. Now, we get to the harder ones, like sleepy. A short-term side effect listed is disturbed sleeping patterns. Grumpy. Bizarre, erratic, or violent behavior is another short-term effect. Bashful. Another short-term side effect listed is anxiety and paranoia, which would make someone nervous or bashful. Doc. Doc was tricky, because there was no side effect listed to match up with it. But then I got to thinking, Doc is a lot more deep than I had anticipated. When you abuse a drug, a big side effect of addiction is needing medical attention from rehabilitation, or a doctor, or a doc. We can also note that using the word dwarf is politically incorrect in our society today. Could that stand for how drugs are also incorrect? Well, now that most of the characters have been settled out, let's go into one of the easier things to decipher, the story. Snow White is scared after realizing someone she loved or part of her life has hurt her. She's pushed into the real world, or the forest, that scares her into doing drugs. She quite easily finds the drugs, considering these days it's known to be quite inexpensive. Yet she has to live with the side effects, quite literally living with the dwarves, until she is put to sleep by her loved one's dissonance. She is saved when someone in her life cares to give her love and help, or the prince showing her love. You may believe this story is for kids, but I know that it very much isn't.